Good evening, race fans, and welcome to LSRTV as we count you down to the start of tonight's action from the Texas Motor Speedway in round number 7 of the Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series. The Lone Star State has been known to take no prisoners, and tonight we will see if that is the case and also who will go to victory lane. I'm Jacob Seelman alongside Evan Pasoko in the broadcast booth, and as we get set to kick off the 7th race of 33, Evan, everything's bigger in Texas. We've seen that before. We may well see it again tonight, and I do know this. If it's anything like the last 30 laps from Saturday night, we're in for a treat.
Yeah, everything's bigger in Texas, including the speeds at this racetrack. It's our third intermediate racetrack that we're coming to in the 2015 campaign. We've been to Vegas, we've been to Atlanta, now headed into the Texas Motor Speedway. Texas is always a very exciting racetrack. In theory, there's a lot of room. You're going to see a lot of guys trying out some different things, but again, it is very high speeds, and it's going to be an exciting race as always with that 40-plus car field rolling into round 7. Now that these guys are kind of getting into what we could consider the bulk of the season, they know what they got to do when they come to work every Monday night, and that's what we're going to see tonight.
That is what we're going to see tonight. We also get a look at the points heading into tonight's action, and unsurprisingly, a veteran of RSR competition, Dwayne Vincent, on top of the board for One Up Motorsports with 229 markers. Dan Murray, who picked up a win earlier this season, sits P2 in the standings right now with David Comstock. 3 points further back in third, Chad Cole, the king of RSR as we call him, fourth, and Jeff Ward, who just shot up to the top of the board in qualifying, rounds out the top 5, has not yet gotten a win in Full Throttle Cup Series action, has won a couple of the Wednesday night shows, so that 89, very formidable, 29.280, the mark to beat. And guys, you know, I was talking to another guy who's winless so far on the 2015 Cup Trail, Evan, that being Adam Benefield, who said, we're going to be terrible tonight. Okay, if terrible is third in practice and right now inside the top 10 in qualifying, okay, Adam, I believe that for all of about 2 seconds. Kind of like how I believe the sky isn't blue. Yeah, right.
And that's not the first time that we've heard that, Jacob. Some drivers saying, we ask them, to get a podium, how confident are you going into this race? How confident are you going into that race? Sometimes they'll say they'll like it, they'll be strong, they run around the top 10. And more times than, not almost when you think about it, they'll say, I really don't like it, we got to work hard at it. And the fact that they put in that extra practice throughout the week because they're not comfortable with that racetrack, and they bring it to the racetrack, and obviously they're a lot stronger because they were kind of forced into a situation to practice a lot harder. And it wouldn't be the first time this season we've heard somebody say, they don't really like this racetrack all that much. They show up, they go fast, and would it be the first time, if it happens tonight, that we'd see somebody do that exact same thing and then end up in victory lane at the end of the night as well?
And we're going to be interesting to watch. Benefield jumps up to 6th right now with about 45 seconds left on the clock. We're going to go down to our Ford First Pit reporters. First up tonight, Justin Rosenau.
Indeed, the action will be live and exciting here on pit road here tonight. It's going to be key that everybody gets wound down from 185 miles an hour down to the pit road speed limit tonight of 45 miles per hour. It's going to be the key action coming up here tonight here as the pit stops in the later stages will decide who will win the race here tonight. And on down pit road from Sydney, Australia, the newest member of LSRTV, Brett Wheeler.
Yeah, thanks, Justin. And as you said, it is really going to be crucial here tonight for those drivers coming down pit lane. I'm sure these pit crew guys have really worked their backsides off, and they know what they have to do to get the drivers' cars set up perfectly, and especially changing them tyres and putting the fuel in. You want to be as quick as possible, so those guys, the pit crews and the crew chiefs are certainly going to be on their game tonight. And who's going to take out the top spot tonight? I'm sure we're not too far away from finding out.
Not at all. And we were talking about qualifying as the checkered flag or red and black flags, whichever you want to say, come out. Jeff Ward's 89 crew and the Steel Horse Racing machine, they actually pick up on their time a little bit more, shaved 3/100ths off it, Evan, and Jeff Ward goes to a 29.249 to take the top spot on the grid for round 7 of the series. Everything's bigger in Texas. He made his lap bigger at the checkered flag. And as we look down our starting grid, Ward on the pole alongside another guy who's been good on 1.5 miles this season, the one of Thomas George.
And not even 1/1000th of a second behind that number 1 car, also with a 29.288. That's the 30 of Brian Macklin, going to roll from the inside of row 2, P3. Alongside him, always a fast competitor. That's where you find that 13 of Dwayne Vincent in 4th.
5th tonight, coincidentally, the Advocare number 5 car. Dan Murray, another one of the Steel Horse competitors, starts 5th. Adam Benefiel rebounded. He starts outside row 3 and 6th.
Chad Cole and DeWalt Chevrolet going to roll from 7th position after being 17th in a practice session. He'll grid up alongside the 24, Stefan Marinac, going to be P8.
9th tonight, going to be the 69, the Boomtown Sim entry of Corbin Hemstreet. Alongside him, another guy who's found victory lane already this season, the Steel Horse number 23 of Greg Evans.
Back on row number 6, the 14 of David Comstock will roll from 11th position. That's the inside on that row. Outside the 96 of Mitch Rollo in 12th.
13th tonight, going to be a sub. Kyle Taraska subbing in for Scott Stenzel in the 42 tonight, alongside another sub. In for David Lanza, it's Chad Coleman.
William Kempf in the AAA Ford entry going to be 15th position alongside the 94 of Eric Brundys in 16th.
And while you see the rest of your starting grid, let's cue up the driver of the number 94 Ford Fusion, Eric Brundys, Jacob Silman in the LSRTV booth as we get set to rock and roll tonight here in Texas. You've been good on these 1.5 miles, haven't gotten that first win yet this season, though. What's it going to take to go to victory lane tonight?
Yeah, it would have helped if we had qualified better, but no, I really like this track, and we got our work cut out for us today. There's a lot of fast guys here, but we're just gonna keep it clean. Hopefully we'll be there at the end.
What's the key to victory here at Texas? I've seen a lot of guys in qualifying like the high lane. Is that going to be the ticket tonight?
Oh no, it's gonna be bottom lane the whole way around, and just whoever saves their stuff the most, I think, is probably gonna walk away here. I think we get a lot of green runs here, so.
I know that's what we're hoping for, and you as well. Wish you the best of luck for you and your Ford team tonight, and looking forward to seeing you get after it.
All right, thanks, man.
Before we go green, Evan, the defending champ hasn't gone to victory lane yet this season. I've been really shocked, but he has been consistent.
That's the big storyline. Your points leader does not have a win. Positions 4 through 9th in the championship standings don't have wins. Guys that have made trips to victory lane starting to slide down those championship standings just a little bit, whether it be right at the tail end of the top 10 or in the high 20s. Win and you're in if you remain in the top 30. Even though those guys with wins are slotted down, you cannot forget about the fact that they've won and they're starting to take up those 16 spots for the championship. That's the bigger picture here.
That is the bigger picture here, and it's going to be one that we will continue to monitor over the next 17 races, including tonight. We're glad you're with us here on LSRTV. They call this racetrack the Great American Speedway, and tonight, the Lone Star 250 will see which one of these can be the next great American hero. Pace car heads to pit road. Field is in the hands of Jeff Ward, and the American Ethanol green flag flies. We are underway from the Texas Motor Speedway. Ward, George, door to door, side by side as they head for turn number 1. Advantage, Jeff Ward.
We got a couple of people down on the apron in corner 1, 4 wide at some points. It looks like it is E.J. O'Rourke. He is up against the inside retaining wall in a number 46, as well the 12 of Harrison Weidlitz. Both those cars ended up out of line to the apron in corner 1. They put around there and now blend back up the racing surface down the back straightaway. Close call, though, in the opening lap.
Yeah, Weidlitz subbing for Joey Jatina tonight, and E.J. O'Rourke subbing in the 46 for Sean Breitzman. I think 7 different substitute drivers, I believe, in this field tonight, Evan. So it's one of those nights. I kind of looked at Brennan Mercer as we were getting ready to start qualifying and said, geez, a little bit of a tough weekend for everybody.
Yeah, there's a lot of substitute drivers that are in this race, and it's not the first time that we've seen sub-drivers come in. You see them pretty much on a weekly basis. Drivers having, this many races in the championship as opposed to, racing every other week. It's hard to be able to get out there, but these subs, it's not like they had to scrap and try to find
trouble
somebody
in turn
for
number
RSR
1.
regulars.
Far up the racetrack, Evan Thomas George. Caution flag flies, and we're in trouble already. not even 3 laps into this race, the Bass Pro Shops #1 of George was the one that started this whole deal, and it's chaos on back from there.
Yeah, George got sideways. He was leading that long single file pack, essentially, that was second on back after the race leader was able to pull some ground right off of the first lap. Inside lane was opened up. Benefield went for it. And it looks like that one car just came down the slightest bit. Maybe thought that Benefield would have had that 01 Ford a little bit closer to the white line. They made contact, and a great save on behalf of Thomas J. George. He does get damage out of it, but it's told to check it up behind him, Jacob. It looks like Stefan Marinak really got turned around by the 5 car. He and Greg Evans got hooked together. Looks like Comstock got a piece of that as well. A couple of cars having to dive down to the inside wall to sneak around that. Looks like the 69 of Corbin Himstreet was one of those drivers, but big incident down in 1 and 2.
And it puts us under the caution for the first time in this Texas Motor Speedway event tonight. And I'm going to throw it right down to our Ford First Pit reporters. Brett Wheeler, I know in the vicinity of your end of pit road is where the pit stall for the one of Thomas George was, and that was a masterful piece of driving.
Yeah, how he say that was beyond me, and as we can see, I can see the one just coming into pit road now, but I tell you, the guys that were really unlucky, as you said, was the 23 and the 24. I think the 23, Stefan Marinak, he was really unlucky. He got on the brakes, and the guys behind him obviously not so quick to get on the brakes and really turn that car around. So I tell you, that one done a good job of Thomas George to save that race car.
And they're all back on pit road down, or at least several of them down on pit road. Couple of the leaders stayed out, but we had a lot of takers down on your end, Justin Rosenau.
Yeah, a couple of cars involved, the 5 of Dan Murray as well, along with the 01 Adam Benefield. These guys taking an early opportunity to get all that damage pulled out on their fenders. 4 tires, a full tank, just topping off that tank of Sunoco Racing Fuel, and they're down and away.
So we'll reset the field in just a moment, but I do know at least Dwayne Vincent in the 13, Evan, was one of those to stay out, as was the 8 of Chad Cole. So a couple of these guys taking advantage of some early race skirmishes. The 30 of Brian Macklin, I believe, another one of these guys that stays out early. So shuffle up among the top 5, but the guy who started from the point is still there.
And what are the drivers that we expect to be a relative factor in this event? The 21 Quick Car Chevrolet Matt Lacrosse was 23rd in practice, qualified 28th, did not hit the grid with everybody else. That he actually rolled from his pit stall after he was here for qualifying. He fell out and was able to get back in. He received a throughput fall to an unacceptable level. He got back in 3 laps into this event when everybody else was on lap 4. He was able to roll out on his first lap. So now he finds himself in that 21 car with some pretty good speed in that machine as well. 3 laps down, and is going to be looking forward to try to see what he can do throughout the night to try to get those laps back to get in a spot to be able to contend at least.
And that would be under the category, Evan, of #LuckyDogs. And Matt Lacrosse going to be looking for a few of those later on in this race. Want to make a note, if you want to be a part of our coverage, interactive with us tonight in the LSRTV broadcast, just tweet at us, #LSRTV, and we may just use what you have to say on our live on-air broadcast tonight. So as we work under caution, going to get a restart with about 7 laps complete, and the EOL on this one is going to go to Adam Benefield. So I'm a little interested by that, Evan, but it's also one of those where you got to pin it on somebody, and it's just hard to do in those checkup situations like what we had over there in turns 1 and 2.
It's interesting because that contact, again, that stemmed with Adam Benefield making a move to the inside, going down into corner number 1. That made the contact with the 1 machine. Thomas J. George, they made contact, and it looked like Benefield kind of moved up the track just a little bit maybe on that 1 car. Initially, you look at it and you think, maybe Thomas cut the nose off on that machine. Interesting that race control does deem that the cause of the caution. Evidently, and we've seen it sometimes in the past, the 5 car ended up turning the 24 in a checkup. Sometimes it's those guys that get pinned, with the blame of the caution. They have to take the EOL. Unfortunately for the 01 team, not the case now. They're going to have to swallow that and deal with it, and they've got quite a fair amount of cars to work back through. They're scored P36 right now, just now catching up to the field, not to add on to the fact that they also have some right front damage.
Yeah, a lot of these guys that I expected to be contenders tonight have damage early. So it could open the door for a little bit of a surprise winner or somebody that we may not have pinned on this early on in the night. But again, still a long way to go in this one from Texas Motor Speedway. It's 125 laps here tonight at the Great American Speedway, so still a lot of time left to happen. 118 laps still to be run, and right now the field is in the hands of Jeff Ward as the iRacing Ford First Mustang pace car is gone. American ethanol green flag in the air, and Brian Macklin gets loose on the restart. Macklin in the 30 spun the tires, checks the inside lane way up, falls back to a battle with fifth in turn one.
Yeah, that was pretty ugly, but it could have been a lot worse. He's able to get back going. Great job by everybody on the inside. 3 wide behind him. The 41's going to find himself right in the middle. That's Nathan Little. Now trouble behind them.
Trouble behind them, going to bring out the caution flag immediately on this restart, and that was back about 16th, 17th place. Brian Harvey, the man in the fence over in turn 2.
And that 66 car not getting any luck. Started this race back in 40th position and found himself in the middle of a big pack, and very similar to what we saw in that first incident, except there was, no contact in front of them, but it was just the 66 pushing up the hill a little bit. It was a side-by-side fight, so he was accounting for the fact that he had Nicholas Cohan up on the outside in that 53 Target Toyota as well, but it looked like he just got on the binders a little bit more than that 96 and Mitch Rolo was, Jacob, and, Mitch really couldn't get way out of the gas because he had that 24 right behind him. It's not like he had a couple of car lengths to really back out of it. If he didn't get into the back of the 66, the 24 probably would have got into him, and it's that accordion effect for the second time in a row that bites those guys down in corners 1 and 2. Looked like he had it saved, went back up the racetrack, clipped the lefter at the 96, sent them both around.
Yeah, so under caution again, just as soon as we went back to green. We're going to have 9 laps in the books this time, and what that did do was put Chad Cole up into the 3rd position right now, the 8 machine on a run here early, but I want to give a call behind them that the real big gainer on that restart was the 33 of Chad Coleman, who rides in 4th, Evan. He restarted on the outside of row 4 in 8th, but oh boy.
And he also started that race in that number 33 Chevrolet in 14th position. Now finds himself up to 4th. So far, the top 3 have started inside of the top 10, 1, 4th, and 7th. The run now 1, 2, 3 respectively. But again, that little bit of pit on that first caution flag cycled things up just a little bit. You got guys like William Kempf, Kyle Tarasca, Nathan Little, Nick Silver that are scored right now 6th through 9th position. Those 4 cars started no better than 13th. Silver, even starting from outside the top 20, is in front of Corbin Hemstreet, who started inside a top 10 spot. So there's a lot of people in these very 2 incidents where if you find yourself really, I guess, the outside line period, because the inside's been where all the issues are. If you find yourself in the outside lane, you've had some fortunate luck go your direction on these first 2 shots at the green flag.
And just one of those things where, cautions breed cautions early, Evan. We're now coming to 10 laps complete, and 6 of them have been run under the yellow flag. I feel like I'm talking about that Indy Grand Prix of Louisiana
thing.
Yeah, exactly. It feels like we're back at NOLA Motorsports Park because we've run 50% of the laps we've run so far under caution. Got a long way to go. We need to get some green flag action in.
Yeah, that's what the drivers are saying as well, and it's very clear, that you come into a 125-lap race. On paper, it's a long time. When you look at it, it's a handful of cycles, a pit stop, a handful of stints. That's really all you get, and you even talked when we were talking with our in-race reporter about how important track position was for these guys that start back on the pack, especially where on the inside lane, where that accordion effect goes. They're almost hesitant to really back way out of it because they know that those guys on the outside, they can lose 3-4 spots in one swing of it. That's exactly what Chad Coleman did. He was on the positive end, gaining 4 from not being behind those guys. There is a sense of urgency knowing that there is a lot to gain by a really good restart. But again, 125 laps, and this typically the races go. We get a little bit of caution maybe at the beginning. Everybody tries to get stretched out and get going. It's that middle portion of the race, and I have no question that we're going to see that throughout this race, is that we will at some point get those good green flag stretches in the middle. And then maybe, tending on, the way history goes at these aggressive 1.5 intermediate tracks, a couple of yellows to stir things up at the end. But you got to get everybody going, and I think that's what we're seeing right now. We're still sitting with 40 cars out of the 41 that started on the lead lap, and the only car off of the lead lap is a driver that was not in the sim at the drop of the green flag. So nobody is severely destroyed, at least for now. Everybody out there, Brian Harvey, still limping around. He does have damage on that 66 Chevy, but so far 40 guys, pretty much everybody that was on the grid, we'll say, is still out there on the racetrack. So we're still doing pretty good. No issues yet for Jeff Ward, the 89 machine, once again going to be on the top spot. How about Dwayne Vincent, though, started fourth? He'll be up to second on the outside of the front row.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on Dwayne Vincent this restart. That is going to be a whole lot of fun. I mean, we know Vincent's looking for a win this season. Of course, Chad Cole's there. Chad Coleman on the outside of row number 2. Gee, that's not going to be confusing at all for this restart. I'm going to have to make sure I keep everything straight. Grab me some caffeine, Evan, because after the night I've had, I could get those two confused in a hurry.
And they're going to be right next to each other, third and fourth on that middle lane. The inside has been the place to be if you're the leader. The outside has been the place to be if you're row 2 on back. We'll see how they can navigate this restart as far as tire spin. Watch that 8 car. That's where the issue was in the last one for that car in P3.
Hang on tight as we work off of turn number 4 in the pace car, getting ready to head for pit road. Field in the hands of Jeff Ward and Dwayne Vincent. Green flag back in the air. Chad Cole to the inside. Macklin's in the infield and nearly goes around. Hold on tight to this one. The gmercer.com number 30 was all sorts of sideways, and as the field heads for turn 1, he's still trying to get back up to speed.
And would you believe it that I told you he was on the inside? It's that dog leg. They come through. It's a quad oval, not a tri-oval. Just clipped that grass and that first kink on the front straightaway. And as he was accelerating, those left side tires ended up with the grass, nearly split him around. Good job of hanging on to it, but he's going to drop way back.
All the way to the tail of the line right now as Ward completes 13 laps now. And we've got a side-by-side battle for 5th in turn 1.
That's that 22 car. William Kemp finds himself up at the outside line, and you can see the inside is the place to be because that is where the freight train is. The 41 car gone as well. The 42 Kyle Taraska, 69 Him Street, the 25 of Nick Silver. Everybody pounced on that one slip up by William Kemp, but he still hangs on the outside in 4.
And working off turn 4, they are getting really loose up off the exit of that corner. Everybody's scattering for position. Now the battle's on for 4th. The challenge to the inside of Chad Coleman.
Little took a look to the inside. He'll have to drop back in behind for that 33 car of Chad Coleman, who so far has already gained 10 positions in his own right, but Nathan Little is up 13. Following him through all of this traffic, the sub-driver for the 42 of Scott Stenzel. That's Kyle Taraska right behind them. These 3 cars, all nose to tail, 1 car separating them 4th through 6th.
We're going on Chad Coleman's roof cam right here to take a look at the view from the number 33 machine. So as you ride and get a vantage point of exactly what it means to be going around here at 180 miles an hour plus at Texas Motor Speedway, Coleman trying to close in on Chad Cole for that number 3 position. He still has a little ways to go, about 3 car lengths to get there. And finally, the field's actually strung out single file back through about 20th.
We saw this on the start of the race that everybody got single file very quickly. Doesn't say that they wanted to stay that way for that long, but everybody gets in line. They try to get down to that preferred lane, then they try to pick and see who they fight at. It'll take us a couple of laps here before everybody kind of weeds their way through as far as, if you didn't get the qualifying effort which you wanted. When you have a 15-minute open qualifier, it helps the fact that you can take a couple of swings at it. But we're going to see now at this point in the race, a lot of guys that are a little bit faster on their race trim start to move forward, and it's these beginning stages of the race where a lot of that passing is going to happen. Once we hit that middle portion, everybody's going to be settled in line. It's going to be a lot harder to pass those guys you're running around because you're such equal speeds with each other.
Side by side for 6th, a little bit further back in the pack, and that's going to allow the front 5 to break away now from Jeff Ward on back to Nathan Little. So those cars are breaking away, and I see at least one of the Boomtown Sim entries starting to come to the front, Evan. So that team needing a little bit of good right now, and Corbin Hemstreet just gave it to him. Took the 6th spot away from Kyle Taraska.
And that 69 could have easily been in the fence on that first incident, Jacob. I'm surprised he didn't take that number off of the left side of the car. Had to go all the way down to the inside of retaining wall on the apron. to snake his way through the 24 car, spinning down in 1 and 2 on lap number 1. Started inside the top 10. That's where he sits right now, up to P6. Both those guys made a move on that 42 of Kyle Taraska, who got stuck on the outside lane. How about Nick Silver? Started 21st. He's up to 7th. He followed that 69 of him straight through as well. So Taraska only lost 2 spots after he got stuck on the outside lane.
And how about Eric Brundies, who started 16th, our in-race reporter tonight? He's worked his way inside to the top 10 now in the 9th position. I want to throw it down to our Ford First Pit reporter, Brett Wheeler. You're down in the 94 pit. What are you hearing on the radio? Anything?
You know, they're just trying to keep trying to get some momentum up and really try and catch these leaders in front. Obviously, he's got 3 cars in front of him right now, and then a little bit of a break between the top 5 drivers. So they're just trying to save a little bit of tyres right now, and hopefully they get a bit of a longer green flag run.
We're settling into that long green flag run stage right now as we see Nathan Little in the 41 take 4th away from Chad Coleman. These guys have settled out single file, Evan, and not a whole lot of passing going on right this second. The one position I do think may change here pretty quickly, the lead. Dwayne Vincent all over the back bumper of the 89 of Jeff Ward, and that One-Up Motorsports number 13 is on the prowl.
Quick update back from 17th. Glenn Campbell in the number 44 machine just got passed by Jose Gonzalez. But you talk about the top spot, Jeff Ward really hasn't had to worry about much on those first 2 shots at the restart. Now 20 laps in, does have to play some defense because he had the important part of being on the inside control car. He was able to get going. Dwayne Vincent sits behind him right now in the 13 machine. Slowly worked his way up from 4th, was able to get up 3rd and then 2nd on the outside of the front row for that restart. Not the place to be. Now that they've kind of got a couple of laps under the belt, the 13's in a rhythm. He is all over the back of that 89 car. Expect that Roll Speed Dynamic Ford Fusion to make a move when possible. Drops to about a car length down through 3 and 4.
So as we get ready to work and complete lap number 23, Jeff Ward leads Dwayne Vincent, Chad Cole, Nathan Little, and Chad Coleman from the Great American Speedway in Texas. This is LSRTV and coverage of the Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series. We'll be right back. Welcome back to LSRTV from Texas Motor Speedway. It's round 7 of the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series, presented by Garry Mercer Trucking. Jacob Seelman, Evan Pisoko in the broadcast booth, and our Ford First Pit reporters Justin Rosenau and Brett Wheeler down on pit road. And what was, when we left you, a 2-car battle for the lead is now a 3-car battle for the lead. Jeff Ward being pursued by Dwayne Vincent and Chad Cole. Cole's really done a good job, Evan, of running these 2 leaders down. That DeWalt number 8, he's on the hunt now, and I don't know, he's had the fastest car on the racetrack the last couple of laps. There's just no lane to get by anyone.
Yeah, it's a very different, beast in comparison to catching somebody versus making that pass. Dwayne Vincent came flying up to Jeff Ward after that 89 Yeti Cooler Chevrolet, was able to make quite good distance on that control car position off of the restart. 13 tracked him down, and he's been stuck right on the back bumper of that Chevy. That has allowed Chad Cole to close in. We talked about the top 5, pull it away from everybody else. That continues to be the case. Over 6th place, Corbin Hemstreet maybe closing into the gap of Chad Coleman just a little bit. 5th and 6th are separated by about 0.8 of a second, but now it's the top 3 who have really set sail. Only separated by 0.2 of a second, and if the 13 doesn't do something soon, the 8's got to get to do it on him or make him do something.
Yeah, he's going to, and look at Vincent looking down, taking a peek to the inside lane. Nothing going into turn number 3, but I'm looking at that 13, and I have to imagine he's getting a little bit frustrated. Justin Rosenau, what are you hearing on the 13 radio?
For the most part, Dwayne Vincent's been pretty quiet, just telling his crew chief he loves the handling on that Royal Speed Dynamics 1-Up Motorsports entry, the number 13 there, and he's just saying he's trying to do what he can do, but he's just biding his time, trying to save his stuff as we're in a long green flag run. But he's going to have to push the issue here too long with Chad Cole fighting down in the back of that Ford Fusion.
He's fighting down for it, and this has gotten to be a really sporty little battle, and they better not look too far, because Nathan Little, Evan, in that 41, he's coming to the front quickly and starting to close in now just little by little on these top 3. So they better, if they're going to fight between each other, they better sort it out quickly. Otherwise, there's going to be even more company at the front.
That's the problem that you find when you get it. It's not even right now the fact that our leaders are at a side-by-side battle. They're single file. Now we got trouble at a racetrack. Caution flag. Everybody's checking up. Somebody's sideways and stationary in the middle of the back straightaway. Cautioned out. It is the 2-car. Rhett McBride trouble. He was 12th.
He was 12th, and that is a very tough break for the Wolfpack number 2, that GT Omega entry. So McBride slowing and getting the replay right now. So Evan, from bad to worse for this 2 crew. They just have not had anything be able to go right.
And he was kind of in a situation very similar to our leaders. There was 3 cars stacked up on top of each other. The 4-car in front of him, the 22-car in between all of them. The 4 slowed a little bit off the corner. That forced that 22 machine of William Kemp into a position where he had to modify his corner exit, and that car got a little bit sideways. It snapped loose, and he did a good job of hanging on. Issue for Rhett was he did not have time to check up and just kind of got nudged into the inside wall after making contact with the left rear of the 22. Locked it up and nearly kept it off the fence. Pancaked it with the left side, came back up in front of traffic, kind of locked out the fact that everybody was able to get around him, and a very, very, very close call with the 46 of E.J. O'Rourke, Jacob. That car was side by side and elected to try to take the inside because they both wanted to fit on the outside, and he nearly took the back bumper off of the 2-car. If we can get a replay of that, the backfire from the exhaust came out and may have scorched the back of that 2 machine, because it was very close when that 46 went to the inside as that 2 was rolling back down the hill.
Yeah, it was. So it's one of those things where one person in trouble and a couple more barely avoid it. And as we are watching pit stops just finishing up, and looks like Jeff Ward, I don't think, is going to be the first one off pit road, but I want to throw it down to our pit reporters since we were breaking down the accident now. Down first to Justin Rosenau. What did you see on your end of pit road?
Waiting to get word on what happened with the 15, whether or not he took 2 tires, but everybody else come down pit road, took 4 tires, full cans of Sunoco race fuel, and pretty much the running order just stays the same coming out of pit road, but we'll get the update on the 15 for you here in just a moment.
Brett Wheeler, I know your end of pit road a little bit more chaotic. You had some of the leaders down there, and I didn't think I saw most of these guys took 4 tires, at least from what we saw here in the tower.
Yeah, a few of the drivers took 4 tyres and also fueling up as well. The reason I believe word coming through now, the 15, was just trying to get back out and stay on the lead lap to go back in and fix that rear end damage on the number 15.
Yeah, we're going to check on that. Scott Simley was scored 7th across the line, but missed his pit, I believe, so he's going to have a little bit of work to do. So as we rejuggle the field right here, Jeff Ward, your leader, Dwayne Vincent to 2nd, Chad Cole up to 3rd, Nathan Little, Chad Coleman, the top 5. They've been like that for the last 20 laps or so. And we're going to take a moment to get a little business done, go to commercial, come back for the restart right after this. You are watching LSR TV. Jeff Ward, your leader in Texas.
Trucking has always been a part of me. It started years ago when my dad and granddad were hauling vegetables to market in Liverpool. The family immigrated to Canada in the late 60s and settled near Alliston, Ontario. I bought my first truck in 1982 and Mercer Trucking was born. Today, Mercer Trucking has over 50 trucks in terminals in Toronto and Los Angeles. Our storage facilities at both terminals can handle any size of distribution needs throughout North America. We service the continental U.S., including Hawaii and Alaska. We run over 120,000 miles per month and some of the best equipment on the road today. We specialize in less than truckload shipments, show freight, we do rush team service deliveries, and haul your refrigerated or heated product. Our regular team service from Canada to California is second to none, and our staff and drivers are among the best in the business. I'm proud of our people and what they can achieve. Trucking is in my blood, it's my livelihood, and it's what I do best.
Here's the thing that makes life so interesting. The theory of evolution claims only the strong shall survive. Maybe so. Maybe so. But the theory of competition says just because they're the strong doesn't mean they can't get their asses kicked.
Welcome back to LSR TV. Just back to green here with 40 laps complete. Jeff Ward, your race leader, over Dwayne Vincent as the field settles itself out. Trouble for Corbin Hemstreet on the restart, Evan. The 69 didn't get going and cost him some spots and really struggled.
And we were noticing this again, and we need to really look at it, that he got those left side tires in the grass, and then we got more trouble on the racetrack.
Caution flag flies. That started at the exit of turn number 4, Evan, but it's going to put us under yellow here at lap 41. Couple of different cars involved.
Looks like we're here in trouble with that 12 of Harrison Weidlitz coming into this one. He's on pit road already, and that thing is absolutely destroyed. He made heavy contact. He was in a huge pack of cars. This is quarter 4 on lap 40, nearly 3 wide, and very similar to the 22 machine that we saw in the last one, replaying over it now, almost like what we saw William Kempf do. He was side by side. Looks like the 43 of Roth may have come up on him a little bit, got that 11 car out of shape, did a good job of hanging on, and then it's the 12 behind him who Greg Evans gets into the back of. He gets turned around in a pretty good lick into that 5 right there on the inside with absolutely nowhere to go. Dan Murray going to be caught up in this one also.
Yeah, and Murray, luckily, he's one of the guys who has a win on the season, so he's really not got to fear anything right now as far as points are concerned, as long as he stays inside the top 30. But that's a tough break for him as well. Weidlitz had already had a win on the season at Martinsville, so we had our week off last week for Easter break and the NCAA tournament and all that. He had a little extra time to celebrate that win, but not going to go 2 in a row tonight. That car really used up. So tough break for Weinlitz. And again, as we've seen from the drop of the green flag tonight, Jeff Ward continues to pace this field. I believe, Evan, he has led every one of the 42 laps that we have completed so far as he crosses the line right here. So a third of this race gone by, and I see nobody that can touch that 89 car.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of people give him a shot and, try, but they haven't even been able to, get in a position to try to make the move. They've been able to get to the back bumper. The 89 is just good enough to the point where they can't get an advantage on him. But let's talk about these restarts, Jacob. We have yet to have one that is clean, and that's because everybody is hitting the grass. We talk about how this is a quad oval racetrack, not a tri-oval. It's not a big, progressive, sweeping left-hand turn. There's pretty much 2 dog legs. If you notice, and all these incidents have happened, you'll see that kink in the grass right before the first asphalt part to the inside on that Legends Oval on the front stretch. Everybody's getting their left side tires in that grass. Everybody knows that these cars are loose enough going down there in the lower gears trying to get up to speed on restarts by themselves. You put left side tires in the grass. That's why everybody's getting sideways, and it's happened every single time because they're crowding that inside.
Well, everybody's crowding the inside. That's the prime real estate. It's where you want to be. So it's just one of those things where everybody wants the bottom lane, and not everybody can be there unless, well, you're running single file. So under caution at lap number 43, and a guy who just peeked his way inside to the top 5 after qualifying 24th is on Justin Rosenau's end of pit road, the 4 of CJ LeVere. That crew's got to be pretty thrilled with the way this is going.
Indeed, and it's just continuing a long string of runs here in all of the series that he's been running, especially the Wednesday night series, the Asphalt Assault, and the Outlaw Truck series here on LSRTV as well. Firmly supplanted himself up into the top 5, and he's looking to keep going towards the front. Reports back to the crew chief are he loves this race car, and he can't wait to see what he can do with it in the later stages.
All right, Evan, before we go back green, we're a third of the way through this 125-lap race. Look at your top 10. Biggest surprise so far?
You don't want to call him a surprise, but how about Chad Coleman and Nick Silver? I like what those guys have been doing. 14th and 21st on the start. They followed each other up through the field, much like we've seen Nathan Little and CJ LeVere do it. We've seen both of those cars become factors so far this season. Would not be surprised if either of them get into a top 5 spot and challenge for some of those high running spots.
And as we work into turn number 3 and get set to go back, green flag racing, Ward, Vincent, Cole, Little, your top 4. They've been in some vestige of the top 5 this entire race to date. And I thought we were just getting set to go back to green. Looks like the at least the front guys doubled up about a lap early this time. The lights are going to go off on the pace car, and it allows us a real quick opportunity to go to our Ford Performance pit reporters. Brett, you're up first.
Yeah, the 89 of Jeff Ward has really been strong out in front. Hasn't really been troubled so much in the early parts of this race, as you said, but the reports coming from the 8 crew of Chad Cole was that he was really trying to push the number 13 and maybe even try and duck underneath him, but just couldn't quite make the move on the inside on that last green flag run.
Justin Rosenau, down to you now as we're about a half lap from green. Anything from your end?
Yeah, I'm catching word from the number 89 Yeti Coolers Chevrolet crew, Jeff Ward, driver of that machine, saying that his car is great on the short run for about 30 laps, and then it really falls back into the hands of guys like Dwayne Vincent and Chad Cole. He really wishes to see a lot more cautions as the night goes on.
And I have a feeling, unfortunately, we're not done just yet. We're a third of the way through, already seen 4 cautions on the night. This restart is going to come with 45 of 125 laps complete in the iRacing Ford First Mustang pace car. Heads for pit road. The American Ethanol green flag flies once again, and the 89 of Jeff Ward out in front. Dwayne Vincent left to scramble with Chad Cole for second and 1.
The cleanest restart we've seen all night. No major issues for the inside line from rows 2 on back. Everybody pretty good till they're a little bit crowded 20th on back, which is what you would expect. But the first major battle is for P2. You see that 8 car down on the inside line. He started third on the inside of row number 2. It is Dwayne Vincent, who started on the outside of the front row. Worked 4-on-1, restart to go. Not this time. The 8 car going to get the spot. Look at the 41. Nathan Little trying to slot in line in front of Chad Coleman. Now those 3 cars, 2nd through 4th single file out. It's a battle for P5.
Yeah, it was a battle for P5, and more like Chad Coleman said, excuse me, pardon me, coming through. He made the hole where there might not have been one, or Nathan Little tried to cut down, and there just wasn't the space there. Move Coleman inside the top 5. CJ LeVere got around both of them there to take over that 4th spot. First time we've seen him up inside the top 4 all night long. It's still Ward out front, but I'm interested to see, Evan, how this 8 does now that he's in P2 and the one able to give chase to the leader.
Well, already you see they're starting to close in on Jeff Ward. They're working together now. Again, the 89 car had a better advantage on this restart than any other because that first fight on track was for P2. Talked about Dwayne Vincent. Again, he was the challenger in second the last time. Started on the outside of the front row, was able to get clear of the car in third. This time, said car was that 8 machine on the inside of row 2, Chad Cole. He was able to get second, and now again, as you said, he'll be in between the 13 and race leader, the 89, and Jeff Ward. So he'll be the first car to get to that back end of that Yeti Cooler Chevrolet if they're able to get to him. They're slowly chipping away. 0.2 of a second, actually make it 1/4 a second exactly at 0.225 seconds off of the top spot. Those top 3 are. But again, Vincent trying to pull some ground over guys like CJ LeVere, Chad Coleman, who, by the way, that 33 machine, talked about him under the yellow, is now in a top 5 spot.
He's back in a top 5 spot, has really sat about 5th place for most of these opening 50 laps. Next time by, it will be 50 laps complete. And a guy that I'm keeping an eye on, Evan, that has actually fallen back outside the top 10 now is the one of Thomas George. He started on the front row, that Bass Pro Chevrolet, now P11.
We've got a battle inside of the top 5, and it is for P5. The 41 to the inside on the 33 of Chad Coleman. Nathan Little trying to make the move, and question will be, does that 25 car follow suit? Nick Silver traced the back end of the 33 through the front straightaway, now goes to the inside. He tries to be able to get 2 of them in one shot. The 33 on the outside, 25 is sideways, and just hanging on for dear life is Nick Silver. He'll be able to keep it out, so at the left rear of that 33 car. P5 is now going in favor of the 41. It looks like P6 wants to go to the 25.
I would say that battle really quickly going to go in the favor of Nick Silver as they start to kick Chad Coleman back a couple of positions. Here comes Eric Brundies now to the inside of the 33, trying to drop Coleman back one more spot. Not sure if he's going to get it, but off turn 2. Meanwhile, Jeff Ward, I think, got a piece of the wall down the back straightaway, and it's going to be the battle for the lead in turn number 3. Chad Cole to the inside.
Chad Cole really didn't think about going to the inside to make a move. He thought that 89 was going to wreck it into the fence and just wanted to get out of the way. Had it inside nose there down to quarter number 3, and the run off a corner forward is going to tilt things back in the favor of that 89 Chevrolet. Jeff Ward avoids catastrophe at a 2, gets it back at a 4. It is once again 1 car length clear for the top spot, back down the back straightaway. Now the 13 of Dwayne Vincent. He might want to make a move on the 8 because just like we saw last time when these top 3 started shuffling things up, Jacob, 4th place, conveniently enough, the 4 of CJ LeVere. These guys now starting to close back in on our leaders who were just starting to pull away.
Yeah, just when you think it's going to be a 2-car or 3-car breakaway, here comes the rest of the train back to say, hey, don't forget about us. And that's exactly what CJ LeVere and Dwayne Vincent did. They drug the rest of the field back forward when Ward and Cole about got to scrambling in turn number 3. Now we see the DeWalt Chevrolet fall off just a little bit. The back bumper of the 89 of Jeff Ward, and kind of settle things down at least for a lap or 2. And with 54 laps complete now, I say we go kind of through the field right now, Evan, just before halfway, and we'll start with the leader, the 89 of Jeff Ward. He's been solid all night.
And then right behind him, that 8 car of Chad Cole. We've seen about on track a couple of times this year throughout it, and expect that DeWalt machine to be very strong. He has at the beginning, but has sometimes struggled in the latter stages, doing a great job to maintain that number 2 running spot. Dwayne Vincent right behind him, the 13, would have been up there inside the top 3 all night after starting in 4th, and he wasted no time to get into those top 3 podium running spots right now. That's where he sits right now. Then we got a huge pack of movers, 4th through 10th. Nobody there started any better than 13th position. Guys like CJ LeVere, who started 24th. 5th place right now, Nathan Little, started at 18th. You got Chad Coleman, who started 14th. 21st is where Nick Silver started this race, all the way back through the top 10, where you see that 26th of Jose Gonzalez running in said spot after starting 25th. He's up 15.
He is up 50, doing a fantastic job right now. So you look at these guys, and as we look at the top 10 right now, just when we said they were settling out, the battle is on for the number 3 position. Chad Cole has gotten dispatched by the 13 of Dwayne Vincent, and it's going to allow the 4 of CJ LeVere and the 41 of Nathan Little to the inside. Cole going backwards in a hurry. He'll be all the way back to 5th by the time we get to the start-finish line.
Despite how wide this racetrack is, there's not a lot you can do when you get that freight train down on the inside lane. The 4-car initiated to move down in 1 and 2. LeVere was able to get clear, and typically when somebody gets a nose on you, they're bringing company with them. That's what we saw there, because the 41 machine bringing through on that one. Nathan Little joining in on the fun. Both he and CJ LeVere get a now bump up to P3 and P4 as they run, and Chad Cole slides back to a 5th spot.
Cole, I expected him to maybe go up and challenge Jeff Ward. He almost did at one point during this run, and now we see that 8-car falling off. Brett, down to you. Anything on the 8 radio that would suggest he's not too happy with that car right now?
Yeah, just got a little bit loose off of turn 2 last time on, and just scraped the wall on the right-hand side, so maybe a bit of driver error on that one, so not too happy. And he's just now just trying to, back there in 5th, just trying to knuckle down and get back to the front cars.
So we watch the battle getting ready to go on for 3rd now. Nathan Little took a peek on CJ LeVere. No dice there, but what I was going to say we were watching was the top 2, Evan, start to break away. Dwayne Vincent and Jeff Ward going at it now, and opened up about a 5-car length gap back to LeVere in 3rd.
Yeah, it's been the top 3, and after the 3rd place car, Chad Cole sliding back, and now it's going to be the top 2. They're faster than everybody else right now by a good margin when they play nice. As soon as you see, and if the 13's able to do so, if he can get up to the back bumper of Jeff Ward, even though they don't get side by side, if they start playing around with each other, then you'll see guys like CJ LeVere, Nathan Little, Chad Cole, 3rd through 5th start to close in. So as long as that 89 can maintain what's really a 3-car length lead right now over that 13, I feel like the 7/10 of a second gap back to 3rd will grow as there's a fight for that spot.
It is a fight for that. LeVere to the outside, Nathan Little down low, and again, that's going to allow the top 2 to break away just a little bit more. Give position number 3 at the stripe to CJ LeVere by about 6/1000ths of a second, but he loses that, loses 4th, and now the 4-car is the one that gets drop kicked back a few, and he's back in P5 as Chad Cole came calling.
Yeah, it's a taste of your own medicine. The 4-car made a move to the inside on the 8 machine. He brought the 41 with him, and now the 41 went to the inside on the 8, and went to the inside on the 4. He brought the 8 with him. So now the 4-car, CJ LeVere, who initiated the move to move up to P3, now finds himself in the role that Chad Cole found himself in, sliding back to P5, and really doesn't have a lot of insurance over P6. Chad Coleman right behind him, not too far off of them. A pretty close battle between 7th and 8th place. That's Eric Brunnies and Nick Silver.
We're coming to halfway this time by 63 laps down, and it's going to be 62 laps to go as they work off turn 4. Crossed flags in the air for the 89 of Jeff Ward, and with that, it's going to allow us a perfect time to go through a gmercer.com full field rundown led by that 89 of Jeff Ward and the 13 right behind him of Dwayne Vincent. Nathan Little rides 3rd at the halfway point of this race. Chad Cole 4th. CJ LeVere 5th, then it's Chad Coleman in 6th, Eric Brundy's the defending champ 7th, Nick Silver 8th, Kyle Taraska up to 9th, and rounding out the top 10, first time I've said his name all night, Evan, Jose Gonzalez in the 26.
Then you find I don't want to add a Betterfield, who's working with some damage from very early on in this race. Running right now, actually up to P10 as he makes a move on Jose Gonzalez, so that 26 will slide back to 11th. Then you find Thomas J. George, the 1-car who was Well, in that mix-up with the 01, he's continuing to try to fight back to the field in P12 right now. Behind him, 13th is that 69 of Corbin Himstreet. He's been a top 10 competitor earlier on in this event. 14th, how about Steve Gottschalk, the 91 Nerf Chevrolet? Haven't mentioned him, I don't think, yet tonight. Started 17th. He's passed 2 cars to get up and gain 3 spots to 14th position. 15th right behind him, that's the 11 of Jonathan Cadell. You got the 14 machine torn up, but still putting down some pretty good lap times. The Monster Energy machine, David Comstock, only 5 spots back from where he started. 17th is Brian Macklin. That machine, again, another one of the drivers that had an issue at a restart, started 3rd, back in 17th position. Behind him, Doug Roth has cut what his gap was in half for the start, started 36th. He's 18th right now. 19th on track is Matt Lacrosse. And rounding out your top 20 is that 29, that's Brendan Mercer.
21st on the racetrack is the 22 of William Kemp, and behind him, the 48 of Kevin Linden. 22nd, Nick Cohan rides 23rd with Sean Casto. 24th and 25th is the 38 of Mark Bratcher. 26th, Brandon Peterson. 27th rides Glenn Campbell. 28th, the LV Sarabia. Scott Simley, 29th, and 30th, the 10 of John Abbott.
Then you find that 23 machine of Greg Evans, who the front end of that machine has seen better days, at least involved in 2 incidents so far tonight, after being the top 10 cars back in 31st, 32nd. EJ Rourke now the 23 nearly wrecks out of 4. Greg Evans is down and through the grass, able to hang on, but nearly an incident down the front straightaway. That will allow EJ O'Rourke, who I just said was 32nd, to bump up to 31st. 33rd is Brian Harvey. 31st is Daniel T. Murphy. Dan Murray now back in 35th position. Final car on the lead lap, 36th, is the 24 of Stefan Marinak. You got 37th, the Rich Jet. 38th, Harrison Weidlitz. Jason Lester is 39th. 40th, Mitch Rollo topping off the field. And 41st is Rhett McBride. The final 4 cars, they're not on track.
So, as we complete lap 69 this time by, that's a look at where your favorite driver is running, and our full field rundown brought to you by gmercer.com, the online home for Garry Mercer Trucking. Jeff Ward leads the field at lap number 70, and Evan, as we come down 55 laps to go this time, boy, we've not seen a lot of action since we went back to green at lap 45. We've actually had a pretty solid green flag run right here.
It was the cleanest restart that we had seen all night, and so far it's been the cleanest stretch, making it the longest green flag stint that we have seen all evening long. We do have battle inside of what was the top 6. That spot is now going to go to Nick Silver. He's up to 7th position right now as the 4 car of CJ LeVere sliding back. Brundys has been able to get around him. Then Nick Silver looks like Benefield as well, and the 01 Ford is going to be able to make a move also. So move Benefield up tentatively, we'll say, to P8, because to the inside the 4 goes, trying to take it back in 3. Not enough room. The 01 shuts the door for the time being. Don't expect that 4 car to give up. I feel like CJ LeVere may be a little bit faster than those guys in front of him. Only lost the spots because he got stuck on the outside lane, and he won't ride around in P9 if he has the ability to pass somebody. Not going to be an easy task because those 3 cars in front of him, Benefield, Silver, and Brundys, 8th, 7th, and 6th respectively, they're all stacked up on each other with about a car length separating them.
Oh, we're far from done battling there on the back half of the top 10. But as we are getting down to it, 53 laps remain, and Jeff Ward has wired the field so far in Texas. He continues to lead over Dwayne Vincent, Chad Cole, Nathan Little, and Chad Coleman, your top 5, as we go side by side.
Monza is a very historic track. It's been around since the 20s, and it's gone through several permutations since then. We're also bringing forward a number of configurations. So there's chicanes that they've installed since the track's early days. So they can use original, very high-speed configurations of the track where the cars would just blow through where the chicanes are today, or they could use a more modern version. So it's a pretty cool, compelling track. unique thing about Monza is it has a road course, but it also has a high-speed oval, and that high-speed oval can be run by itself. The Grand Prix course can be run by itself. And they also can be run together in a combined circuit, which is very unique and special in motorsports. This was one of the more challenging projects that we've undertaken. It was essentially building 2 tracks in one. It took a lot of time and a lot of care was put into it, but we're really happy about the end result, and we think that people have a lot of fun driving it.
Welcome back to LSRTV from Texas Motor Speedway, the Lone Star 200 on LSRTV, round 7 of the Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series. Jeff Ward continues to wire the field and lead this race at lap 80, but a guy falling back is CJ LeVere. We're going to go down to our Ford Performance pit reporters and start with Brett Wheeler. What's the update on the 4-car?
Yeah, the 4-car got into the wall about 10 to 12 laps ago, and he's really not happy with the race car right now. As you can see, he's losing more spots, so he's just hoping a yellow comes out so they can try and make some changes to that number 4 machine. What are you saying, Justin?
I'm hearing up in the 8 pit of Chad Cole, that DeWalt Chevrolet. Really strong on the long run. Fell back there for about 5 to 10 laps or so and has made his charge. Passed Dwayne Vincent while we were side by side for second, and he's closing that gap now on your leader, Jeff Ward. It's down to about 10 car lengths now coming out of 4.
He is closing down the gap, and Evan, we've been asking ourselves all year long, when is Chad Cole going to win a race? When is Chad Cole going to win a race? He's a 10th quicker than Jeff Ward on the racetrack. Could tonight be the night?
We've talked about how it was big news seeing that number 8 DeWalt Chevrolet back on track for this 2015 campaign. And he's been strong. A lot of drivers that we talk about, Jacob, they're bad on the qualifying end. That's where they struggle. They're good in racing, but it takes them a while to get back up there and make up said time. He's good in the starts, but he has struggled in the long run, and he's close call there because our leader, Jeff Ward, just misses pit lane. The 89 car did not get woed up in time. He's going to have to go back around, get back up to speed. That's going to be very costly.
That is going to be extremely costly and hands the lead over for the first time all night to Chad Cole, or anybody else for that matter. Ward comes up in a pack of traffic, and yikes, we got one car in the inside wall off turn 2.
We're here in trouble for Cohan. He's dropping down to the boards here very quickly in that number 53 machine. He's back up on track, but found himself down on the inside. Now we're wrecking.
The 30, the 11, caution flag flies here at lap number 83. Macklin, Cadell, bunch of guys got a piece of it. Ward stays out so as to not have any problems, but this is going to throw a huge wrench into the works.
And you talked about that, the Hornet's Nest that 89 found himself back in, Jacob. There was no way that he was going to be able to get back down pit road because of all the traffic behind him. The 69 car on the inside, I think he may have been trying to get down to the pit lane, but that car just shot up the racetrack right when Brian Macklin made a move to the middle and he just got cross-checked up the hill into the 11 GTR Simulator entry, and that was a pretty heavy lick as well for Jonathan Cadell. Comstock right in the middle of that, goes essentially spinning down through it, and that's 3 major contenders involved in that incident. Jeff Ward will dodge a bullet in the fact that he didn't end up in a fence, but again, it was that issue coming down the pit road that really set that up. He found himself in a very heavy populated area, and it led to an incident in 4.
And we're going to go side by side. A bunch of the guys coming onto pit road right now, led by your race leader, Nathan Little, who inherited the point when Chad Cole came down pit road. So the rest of the field's on pit road in front of our Ford Performance pit reporters. Justin.
Indeed, waiting for that 89 at Jeff Ward, who was the race leader for the longest time, down on pit road. Right side tires going up on that machine. Going to be a 4-tire stop. Couple of adjustments in the back window of that race car. Left side going up. Gasman's got that second can of Sunoco race fuel in his hands, and he's waving us down and away, but several cars beat him off of pit road, including the 41 and Nathan Little.
Yeah, Little's going to be the first car of those guys who pitted right here off of the pit lane, and I'm trying to look to see exactly how this is going to cycle through in just a minute. And let's take another look at this of the 89 of Jeff Ward, Evan, missing pit road, because this was a very uncharacteristic mistake out of a guy who has been so consistent, so solid in everything he's done in RSR this season.
And I think he was aware of the fact that when we were talking about, who was running up front, and that I think he was aware of the fact that right behind him was another race car. So the fact that he really couldn't go way up the hill and take a good dive down onto the pit lane because of the fact that he tried to hold it down, and the fact that he was trying to be courteous to somebody else is really what caused the issue for him, because he obviously kind of had to restrict himself down to the bottom part of that racetrack as opposed to taking a very wide swinging entrance onto the pit lane. And it's quite tight when you try to come out of quarter number 4 there, and he saw that 8 was flying around, couldn't go up too high. It was still pretty close with the 8 trying to sneak by, and evidently just didn't get it slowed down in time. That commitment cone is well out there towards corner 4 as opposed to some other tracks where they have a lot more time.
So we reset the field like this at lap number 85. Chad Cole back to the point with Nathan Little in the 41. Going to restart alongside him in second. How about the 94 of Eric Brundy cycling through to third right now? The 94, I want to see if we can dial him up on the radio here in just a minute, Evan, but he's been impressive here of late behind the wheel of that Ford Fusion. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do going forward.
Yeah, we talked about when we had those first couple of cautions in this event, the cautions breeding cautions. We said the middle of the portion of the race, we're good to see that long green flag run. That's exactly what we just got. Now the fact that we're really getting down to the point where it's less than 40 laps to go in this event, question is, do we really go a long time green on this, or is really we're going to get a couple of short stints and a couple of shootouts here where it's going to have to take this final part of the race restart by restart, and that could be one of the key deciding factors as a whole wave of cars going to get that wave by around the pace car, and it's going to allow Chad Cole to now get back to the back bumper of the pace car as the lights go out.
And really quickly want to dial up the guy who rides third, Eric Brundy's. Eric, you caught a little bit of a break with the way that pit cycle got broken up by the caution flag. You got good track position now. What are you hoping to do with it on the restart?
Yeah, we're starting right next to Nathan, my teammate, so hopefully we're going to drop in line and hopefully try to get by Cole here. We'll see. We're pretty good in the long run, not perfect, but we'll see what happens.
We got one more lap under caution here. They've extended it for just a second to get everybody lined up better. You know where you're going to be for this restart. You've got a teammate kitty corner to you there in second. Do you and Nathan feel like you guys have got a shot to take the front of this field by storm?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think we're about even with Cole here, and I think got a couple faster guys behind us that got shuffled back. But we're just gonna keep the pedal down. Hopefully it'll stay green here, and we'll come with a good finish and maybe sneak out a win.
That number 94 White Castle Ford Fusions look fast, Eric. We'll see if you can get to the front here in the last 38 laps. Good luck.
All right, thanks. Enjoy the finish.
All right, Evan, before we go green, I like what I'm hearing out of the defending series champion. And, this is the first time all night he's really had a spot up on the front 2 rows to showcase what that car's capable of. It's had the speed all night, though.
Sitting on 3 top 5s, 4 top 10s going into round 7. Pretty good statistics, but we know that he is not going to be satisfied until he gets a number in that win category, has himself in a position, and if he can play the cards right and things fall in his favor, because, by the way, P3 has not been the most fortunate position to be in on some restarts so far this evening. He's right behind Chad Cole, right behind Nathan Little. Neither of these guys really dominated this race so far. That's Jeff Ward, who, by the way, is now back in 7th. He's going to be fighting through the field. The 94 can put himself in a spot that he has a chance to walk away with this one. He'll have less than 40 laps, though, to get the job done.
He will, and I think this is going to be a very interesting restart. It's going to be 37 laps to go when we get the green flag, and the iRacing Ford First Mustang pace car is going to pull off after another Service Master Clean caution period. Field in the hands of Chad Cole, and we're going to the American Ethanol green flag. This restart puts us back underway. Cole got a fantastic jump, and Eric Grundy's doing exactly what he told us he was going to do. To the inside, takes second away.
Yeah, it's a good advantage if you can avoid that tire spin to follow the leader through and easily able to get up to second, and already just a car length off their top spot. They fight side by side, third on back. Nathan Little still not able to find a spot at line. He's got a great run through 3 and 4. He'll use that banking to fly down quarter 4 through the front stretch to get clear on the 25 car. Nathan Little third, Nick Silver fourth, Chad Coleman round out the top 5 right now. Our leader separated by about 3 car lengths as Eric Grundy's was able to get the job done on the restart. He's got a shot at the 8 car, needs to execute.
The 8 car is executing right now. This is the closest I've seen him to being in contention for a win, oh boy, all season long, I think. This is the best Chad Cole has looked. And Evan, you know, we've talked about that. Cole said it was going to take him a little bit to get back into a rhythm, get back comfortable with these cars. But when he did, boy, look out, because he was going to be good. And I think we're starting to see that.
Yeah, he was able to get a great run through 3 and 4 on a restart, which as the leader, it's very difficult to do, because if you're second with that 94 car, Brundys can kind of gauge what he's doing, Jacob, off of the car in front of him. As the leader, it's very easy to almost lose that edge as far as how aggressive you can push that race car, and it's very easy to allow those guys behind you to close in. Not so fast, though. Look at that 41 of Nathan Little, who was unable to get anything going on the restart. Finally got into third, already flying back up to the leaders, only within 2 tenths.
Within 2 tenths right now, and you talk about the battle for the lead heating up. Brundys all of a sudden has come to life. He is right on the back bumper of Chad Cole, looks to the inside in turn 3. That's the battle for the top spot, and it's like somebody shot Eric Brundys out of a cannon. He's going to the lead, and Nathan Little trying to follow through to second.
Close call. That 41 was flying at him 4, almost got into the 8 machine and possibly thought about making it 3 wide, but he'll follow the 94 through, and goodbye the freight train. On the inside line is going to force that 8 car of Chad Cole from first to second, third, now fourth, maybe even 5th on back, because here comes Chad Coleman bringing Jose Gonzalez and more company. Jeff Ward right there as well, all stacked up on the inside line.
New leader, your defending champion, Eric Brundys, his teammate behind him right now playing defense in second. But Mr. Where did he come from? How about Jose Gonzalez in the Meatball Mobile? He's moving inside the top 5, Evan, for the first time all night.
And we've seen Jose pick his way through this field and was able to get to a top 15, then a top 10, but now really putting it to the guys. Was the 16th place fastest car in the practice session, qualified 25th, so has been able to account for that time lost and those track positions lost and more. Gady now it's going to be at 20 spots to get to a top 5 position. He runs behind Chad Coleman, who has gained 10 in his own respect to get up to 4th.
Big movers, big shakers. This time by, it's going to be 30 laps of racing to go. I'm not quite ready to say who's going to win this race just yet, Evan, but boy, how quickly the complexion of this race has changed.
Yeah, and it was that caution. Whenever you get a caution in or around a cycle of caution, or rather the green flag pit stops, it really shakes things up. Really, it got shooken up by the fact that the fastest car all night long had an issue getting on pit road. Jeff Ward has really only had to deal with clean air all race long, Jacob, so they haven't really been adjusting that car to work very well in traffic. He's gained a spot. He's up to 6, but still 1.2 seconds back. He's not really flying through anybody. He finds himself behind Jose Gonzalez still out of 4.
Yeah, he does. So, as we watch these battles inside and around the top 10, our focus returns to the two stroker aces out front. Eric Brundys leads teammate Nathan Little as we have got 97 laps going to go in the books this time by. And Brundys, your leader, we're going to take our what we hope is our final commercial break. Well, I say we're going to take a commercial break. We're going to take a look at replay of some action. We've got some scrambling, Evan, on the racetrack, and you know the tempers are flaring. Everything's bigger in Texas, but that means big tempers too.
That's an understatement. The 38 of Mark Bratcher and the 1 of Thomas J. George were just screaming at each other, having some colorful words over the radio all the way through 3 and 4, all the way down the front straightaway. Thomas was not happy with the fact that the 38 machine was pinching him down, and he was screaming on the radio, how much room do you want there, because they made contact into quarter number 3 on lap number 96, and that's why the 1 machine was not happy with the 38, and they were screaming at each other the whole time, and a couple of harsh words between them. In the end, the 1 car gets the better end of it because Thomas will move up to 22nd, now 21st at the stripe. Meanwhile, finding himself back in 25th is Mark Bratcher, continuing to slide as Corbin Himstreet puts a pass on him.
All right, we'll try this one more time as Eric Brundys leads, and the scrambling going on behind your top 10, who have all strung out single file. Brundys and Little out in front as we work lap number 100. We'll be back for the sprint to the finish in just a moment. From Texas and the Great American Speedway, this is the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series on LSRTV.
Trucking has always been a part of me. It started years ago when my dad and granddad were hauling vegetables to market in Liverpool. The family immigrated to Canada in the late 60s and settled near Alliston, Ontario. I bought my first truck in 1982 and Mercer Trucking was born. Today, Mercer Trucking has over 50 trucks in terminals in Toronto and Los Angeles. Our storage facilities at both terminals can handle any size of distribution needs throughout North America. We service the continental U.S., including Hawaii and Alaska. We run over 120,000 miles per month and some of the best equipment on the road today. We specialize in less than truckload shipments, show freight, we do rush team service deliveries, and haul your refrigerated or heated product. Our regular team service from Canada to California is second to none, and our staff and drivers are among the best in the business. I'm proud of our people and what they can achieve. Trucking is in my blood, it's my livelihood, and it's what I do best.
Welcome back to LSRTV under caution at lap 101. Leaders are on pit road as you're going to get a look at the replay of what happened. Mark Bratcher losing it in turn number 2 and John Abbott getting collected in the scrum. So as you guys get to see that, I'm going to throw it down to our Ford Performance pit reporters as Nathan Little and Eric Brundys have been dominating the way, and Little had a great pit stop in front of you, Brett Wheeler.
Certainly did. That crew was absolutely on fire as they do take the one of the first cars to come out of the pit road. And I tell you what, his teammate in the 94, Eric Brundys, is coming to come out about 4th or 5th in that one. So Brundys not too happy with the pit stop just then.
The 89 of Jeff Ward, after missing his pit stall in the last round of green flag pit stops there, takes 2 tires along with the 26 of Jose Gonzalez. That's going to put them out front of the guys that were running up front just before the caution wave, and a few other drivers staying out. I do believe the 24 stayed out, the 36, who was several laps down, also staying out. So the guys up front that really matter right now, the 26 and the 89, 2 tires on those 2 machines.
You'll see your lap down cars head down pit road this time by. So the shuffle up is going to put Brundys, who was your leader coming down pit road, back, I think, Evan, about 7th or 8th place right now. So tough break for the 94. He's going to have some fray to fight through. He scored 8th right now. So long way to climb for that 94 team. And, you know, it's a big break for some of these guys who are gambling on maybe some short runs to the finish and hoping 2 tires will hold up.
You gotta love when the strategy comes into it, and almost like we called it when at the beginning of the race we said we'll probably see some yellows at the end to really shake this thing up and really make it a race from in the middle portion where it was long green flag runs. There was a lot of strategy. Now a different strategy in the fact that you got guys with different sets of tires. Now that fuel strategy, the tire strategy, all coming into a play at the end here. But you can't really look at this, Jacob, for a lot of these guys, if you want to be realistic with yourself, as, 25 to go. You got to think of this as a set of restarts that you need to nail. That's going to be the key for the guys out front, including that 69 of Himstry who sits up top.
This is going to be fun. I'm excited. It's going to be a good old-fashioned Texas throwdown. I believe that's one of Justin Rosenau's favorite words. So we're going to have, about 21 laps or so when we go back green flag racing. And Justin, I'll go back to you for this because I have no idea what's going to happen. This is about to get good.
It certainly is here. We've had, a few short runs, a couple good long runs. I do believe with the clean air, I do believe 2 tires is going to be better than Corbin Hemstreet. He's the lone guy on the lead lap that stayed out. No tires on the 69, so 2 tires being in the 89 there. He's going to be on the outside road there. Gonzalez as well. These guys are going to have the advantage, but it's going to take about a lap or so for them guys right behind them in the 4 tires, the 41, the 33 in the gang. They're going to come in about a lap or 2 after these guys take off with the 2 tires.
All right, Evan, we're gearing up for this restart. What are you thinking?
It's not going to be the last one. We got 21 laps to go. You can fit a couple of them in there. We still sit after 41 cars started this race, still with 31 of them. We got drivers starting to get a little bit upset with each other, and when we get down to the latter stages that they're only going to give less and less room, going to be a lot of take and not a lot of give.
So, we watched the front row that on this restart is going to be inhabited by Corbin Hemstreet and Jeff Ward. Hemstreet up top for the first time all night. He leads the field back to the American Ethanol green flag, gets a solid restart, and Jose Gonzalez spins into the grass. He spun the tires, goes all the way down through the infield, and the 26 was third. Now he's going to be back a long way, falls all the way to the tail of the line.
Again, the left side tires. He clipped that grass, and now the 69 car plastered up against the fence. Really not a lot of room. Jeff Ward to the inside, and after it looked like he threw it away, the 89 Yeti Cooler Chevrolet back to the point off of 4. Not too soon, though. Here comes Nathan Little as well.
Nathan Little to the inside, looking for the move in turn number 1. He takes a peek to the inside of Jeff Ward. Cannot hold it down there. Corbin Hemstreet on no tires is going all the way backwards as we work off turn number 2. He'll fall back on the outside, and Little's looking for the lead.
The 41 car to the inside, and Jeff Ward got sideways after he tried to shut that door. That almost got bad. We got 4 cars stacked up at each other, and again sideways is Jeff Ward. A lot of give and not a lot of take and not a lot of give here. You see that 41, he's forced to the outside, and now the 25 is Silver to the inside.
All right, boys, they're getting rowdy now here in Texas. 1 car hard into the inside wall. We're still green for the moment. He's down on the apron, and Evan, that was chaos in front of you.
Caution's out, and after more contact, Nick Silver up the racetrack, and he hit the 96. He got clobbered by Mitch Rollo. Terrible to see that. I mean, you talk about a guy like Nick Silver, who started this race way back. We talked about him at the halfway point. Jacob, you asked me 2 guys to keep an eye on. I told you him trying to get up to a top 5 spot. We all remember how he snuck into the picture at Atlanta and was looking like he may put himself into the picture at this one. The replay goes live right now. Everybody was, the 89 was sideways, the 41 was sideways, hanging on to it, albeit a good save for Nathan Little. He just needed a little bit too much more room to do it, and it hit that 25 car and just sent Nick Silver straight to the inside wall. He plowed it, spun back up on track, and evidently got hit once again by the number 96 coming through. Mitch Rollo losing the engine in that one.
Ouch is all I'm going to say to that. And it puts us under caution at lap 108. Tough break for Mitch Rollo. So a night that was starting to look good for the Boomtown Sim crew has gone from good to just absolutely bizarre. Hemstreet's going to come down pit road for tires, and I knew he was going to have to. There was no way those old Goodyear Eagles were going to hold up. Brett Wheeler, the 69 team tried it, did not pay off.
No, they really had to try something in those last 20 laps, but I'll tell you what, I was just down in the 41 pit, in the pit area, and their crew was absolutely filthy with the way Jeff Ford was just throwing and just shutting the door and getting that car too sideways.
Oh boy, Jeff Ward doing what he has to do. I mean, we saw on Saturday night, Evan, it was a good old-fashioned throwdown between Joey Logano and Kevin Harvick, and now we're seeing blocking with these guys, but come on, it's 20 laps to go. It's less than that now. You gotta do what you gotta do. There's no give and take at this point.
Yeah, block me once, shame on you. Block me twice, shame on me. It was, one maneuver, not necessarily, even a block, and the fact that Jeff Ward was just taking a normal line, but really he tried to do it a little bit sooner to make obviously the defensive move. It worked for him, because what it did was it forced Nathan Little to the outside, which, as we've seen all night very clearly, the inside is the place to be. But you can tell that Texas, you talked about it at the beginning, how they were getting a little bit sideways off the corner. Now they're going, 15 degrees, and they're staying in the gas because they know that if they lift, somebody's going to make that aggressive move to the inside. Might not work in the corner, but they're going to do it. And we're not quite done yet. I don't think that's the first time that we're going to see some of our leaders getting sideways and making contact with each other. Light's still on the pace car for now, so this restart going to be right in the range of about 14, 13 laps to go in this event. And Jeff Ward still has Nathan Little, Chad Cole around him. How about Chad Coleman? After starting this race 14th at one point was with Chad Cole, he's up to second. Oh, we got LD Sarabia. He's wrecked. The 3 cars facing the wrong direction. The 66 of Brian Harvey. That car is wrecked as well after trouble under the caution flag. Everybody was slowed up for the field in corner number 1. And it looks like the 66, not sure if he was told to go by LD in that number 3 machine, Jacob, but he went to the inside, and they just clipped each other, hooked, in a hard impact for the 66 into the fence.
Yeah, Brian Harvey socked the fence there, and I'm completely puzzled by that, Evan. I was hollering at you on the radio right there, nudging, going, wait, what is this? And it happened so quickly, I think we were all a little bit blindsided by it. Goodness, we've seen everything happen tonight.
Yeah, now we've seen it all. What I think it was is the fact that you take a look at Brian Harvey, who's running 27th. In front of him, LD Sarabia on track is running in a position that puts him, you look at the 66, Brian Harvey, believe he was told to go around LD, considering that where that car is on track. LD scored in 37th place, Jacob, so I think he was told to go to the inside, and the 3 really didn't move up out of the way to, give him, and as opposed to going to the inside, just thought he could, make it to the, go in the inside position as opposed to going up around the top side of that 3 machine, and he just ran out of room, and because of where they clipped, it just turned that 66 head on into the outside wall. He came back down, he got back into that 3 machine, and again, very abrupt, blindsided is exactly the word that I think LD Sarabia would be feeling, because he had no idea the 66 was flying up halfway in the grass.
No, he didn't, and it's really shaking everything up now, at least in the back part of the pack, as we get set for this American Ethanol restart, which is going to come, I believe, with 14 laps remaining in this race. Eric Brundys and Nathan Little are back up on the inside row inside the top 5. How about David Comstock? We've not said his name all night long except in the full field rundown. He's up to 6th for this restart, which comes as Jeff Ward gets a great jump, sends it sideways for an instant. That's going to allow Chad Coleman to the inside. Oh, Ward throws the block on Little. That's going to stack the inside lane up in one.
The 89 spun the tires and got into that dangerous situation with the left side tires in the grass, and now he's in the fence. The 8 cars in the fence, half the cars inside of the top 5 are into the outside wall. Chad Cole is one of them. Jeff Ward is one of them. The 41 of Nathan Little has to settle for 3rd, and it is the 33 of Chad Coleman. He'll get a shot at Jeff Ward. Big run off of 4. Looks to the inside, and that door is shut, and now they're bouncing off each other in the top 2.
He gave him a shot. The 52 of Sean Casto's in the infield. He's got trouble. But I mean, the 33 of Coleman gave the 89 of Jeff Ward one heck of a shot. down the front straightaway. This is knockdown, drag out war with 12 laps to go. Ward leads it, Coleman's there, Little's there, Brundy's up to 4th.
So I said the first time the 89 did that to the 41 that it was a defensive maneuver. That's a block. He shut him down all the way to the grass. And now the 41 to the inside. Aggressive move. The fight's going to be for P2. Jeff Ward wants this to last a while. It's not going to be a long fight. The 41 through and clear. He'll have to make up about 4 car lengths, though, for the top 2. More battling for third on back. Now Jeff Ward has blocked both Chad Coleman and Nathan Little once, Jacob. We all know what happens when you try to do it a second time.
Oh, if Nathan Little gets to the back bumper of the 89, which I believe he's definitely fast enough to do, we're going to be hollering because this show is about to get good. 11 to go as they cross the stripe that time. Top 12 or so, all ride single file right now, but the prowl is on up front. Little closes it down to a car length and a half down the back straightaway. The 41 smells blood in the water. He wants the win in Texas.
Jeff Ward was bouncing off the wall on the restart, and he is not afraid of it. They are driving these cars as hard as we have seen them do it all night, using every inch of the racetrack. Down to the white line, all the way up to the outside retaining wall. 10 laps to go, and a 41 still sits at about 2.5 car lengths off of the back bumper of the 89. Make it 2 car lengths now at a quarter to number 2. Question is, once he gets to him, can he make the pass, and how patient is he once he gets there? Don't expect the 41 to play nice with that 89 machine. Jeff Ward and Nathan Little, they're going to duke this out. If they get into it with each other, or if they continue to hold each other up, if they get side by side, Chad Coleman only 5/10 away with Eric Brundy's right behind him in 4th.
Oh, I don't think Coleman's going to be the one that may be the beneficiary. Brundy's is trying to knock the rear deck lid of the 33 off to try and get that 3rd spot. Meanwhile, off turn 2, Ward throws the block. Little to the inside, down the back straightaway. Battle for the lead in turn number 3. Ward tries to pinch him down there, but Little had him, the corner panel, and Ward throws the block on him successfully. A lot of black smoke in that corner. Steve Gottschalk in the Nerf 91 headed for pit road. 8 laps to go as they cross the stripe, and that second block by the 89 of Jeff Ward cost Little some 3 car lengths.
Yeah, the 89 had the 41 was able to get to the inside, and that's probably one of the only times all night, Jacob, we've seen somebody squeeze the inside and either not get turned or not lose 3-4 spots from it. Jeff Ward with a masterful job of being able to hold off Nathan Little for that lap. The 41 closed it in very quickly at 7 to go, and side by side for 3rd as well. The 94 to the inside. Chad Coleman now finds himself up high.
I told you Brundy's was going to be the one to go to 3rd and be the beneficiary if these 2 cats in front of him wreck. Quickly down, first Justin Rosenau. What are you hearing from the 41 crew?
He wants to lead bad. He's got 4 fresher tires, but he's trying to figure out a way to do it without dumping the 89.
Yeah, Jeff Ward and the 89 crew doing everything they can to hang on for that 41. The 41 snuck his nose in before, as the 41 just getting on the infield, and the 89 continued to block him.
There it goes into turns 1 and 2. There was the contact. I don't know how they managed to hang on to it. Evan, you and I were both watching this and thought they were both going to be in the wall.
Yeah, I said there they go. The 41 should have wrecked on that. He went to the inside. Half the car was in the grass. So somehow able to maintain that position at the quarter. 89 blocked him for about the 4th time, and it sent that 41 sideways. Now with 0.3 of a second, a gap between P1 and P2 and 5 laps to go, I don't think Nathan Little's going to have enough time to get the Jeff Ward, and he is not going to be a happy camper if he does not get one more shot at it, because he nearly got turned to the inside wall.
Oh, and he nearly socked the wall there down the back straightaway. He's driving the wheels off this thing, trying everything he can to get back there. He wants another shot at it, and let me tell you, that block is going to go down in this season's history as potentially one of the wildest moves so far this year. If it pays with a win, I don't even know where to start. We're 6 miles from home. Jeff Ward leads it. Little almost kisses the fence again. I mean, he is doing everything to get there.
You can't not love what you're seeing right now. The 41 to the fence, sideways, not lifting once, as he is giving it everything he can. but how much harder can he drive it, Jacob? The last 2 times he's gotten to the back bumper of the 89, the first time he played nice at 3 laps to go. The last 2 times he has just straight drove the nose to the inside, and he still hasn't won. Closing in, going to get one last push maybe off of corner number 2. His time by 2 laps to go, 2 car lengths. He may get one more chance.
Yeah, and there's 2 strikes against that 89 of Jeff Ward for the 41 a little. If he gets there, the 3rd strike is going to be Ward in the wall. This time by 2 laps to go. It's a car length as they head for turn 1. Nathan Little wants it bad. How bad do you want it, Evan?
He's digging it. He's nearly put it in the fence about the last 3 laps in a row. You see, he really gains a lot of time. Center off, holding the left side tires down to the white line. 1 car length now, 3 and 4 for the penultimate time. Jeff Ward is going to lead us across the stripe for the white flag in 1.5 miles to go. Can he hang on for 1.5 more car lengths?
Oh boy, they crossed the flag and we will race it home no matter what. Nathan Little down to turn number 1, and that 41, he's not close enough this time. It's going to be all about how bad you dive it into turn number 3 as they work down the back straightaway for the final time. He's going to have 1 shot at him into turn number 3. Little drives it in hard, but he is not going to be close enough. He surges through the middle of the corner to the outside, gets it in the wall, down to the start-finish line. Jeff Ward will win at Texas.
And Little hangs on to what's going to be a P2 finish as exactly what we probably thought he was going to do. He put it in the fence trying to get that checkered flag, and he was split 3 wide nearly for that P2 at the start-finish line. He hangs on over Eric Brundys, who was able to defend because we were watching that top fight, but there was still a great battle going on those final few laps between Eric Brundys and Dwayne Vincent. Brundys hangs on over Vincent to get second, but Jeff Ward somehow comes away victorious in this one after a couple of times. He should have been in the fence, and he'll be the winner tonight. He gets set to burn it down on the front straightaway while the Nathan Little team rolls a very damaged 41 car back to the pits and has to settle for second.
Wow. I don't even know where to start, Evan. I'm trying to catch my breath right now. Ward, your winner. He is burning it down on the front straightaway. Little, Brundys, Vincent, and Benefiel, the One-Up Motorsports teammates, finish 4th and 5th. LeVere, Coleman, Comstock, Tarasca, George, the rest of your top 10. But that number 89 machine celebrating. The Chevrolet go into victory lane at Texas. We're going to take a break, and we're going to talk with Jeff Ward, Nathan Little, Brundys, the rest of your top finishers, coming up right after this. From Texas Motor Speedway, this is LSR TV and the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series.
Here's the thing that makes life so interesting. The theory of evolution claims only the strong shall survive. Maybe so. Maybe so. But the theory of competition says just because they're the strong doesn't mean they can't get their asses kicked. That's right. See, what every long shot come from behind underdog will tell you is this. The other guy may in fact be the favorite. The odds may be stacked against you, fair enough. But what the odds don't know is this isn't a math test. This is a completely different kind of test. One where passion has a funny way of trumping logic. So before you step up to the starting line, before the whistle blows and the clock starts ticking, just remember out here, the results don't always add up. No matter what the stats may say, and the experts may think, and the commentators may have predicted, when the race is on, all bets are off. Don't be surprised if somebody decides to flip the script and take a pass on yelling uncle. And then suddenly, as the old saying goes, we got ourselves a game.
Welcome back to LSRTV, the Garry Mercer Trucking post-race show underway as we get set to wrap up what has been an absolutely nutty night from the Lone Star State. Jacob Seelman, Evan Pasoko, Justin Rosenau, Brett Wheeler now all heading down to pit lane where we're going to kick off this whole scramble. And Justin Rosenau, I'm just going to throw it right over to you because I believe you're down with the one guy who wasn't in the middle of a mess there in the closing laps. He led part of this race. The 94, Eric Brundys, just comes up a little short there at the end.
Indeed, the driver, the number 94 White Castle Ford Fusion from the Stroker races, Eric Brundys, comes home in the third position tonight. And Eric, you had quite the battle yourself between Chad Cole and Dwayne Vincent there to hold on to the third spot.
Yeah, wow, I haven't raced that hard in a long time. Yeah, I really wanted to run well tonight, and I really wish it had stayed green, because I think Nathan and I had him beat, but had a yellow, and I had it all set to go to 2 tires, and at the last minute I decided to go 4, and I don't regret it, because I mean Nathan and I did get back to the front. We just didn't get the 89, so it's hard to tell what would have happened if we had taken 2, but it's another top 5, and that's it's kind of what we did last year. Is we just kind of top 5'd them to death, and if that's what we have to do again this year, that's what we'll do. So it was a good race. I wish Nathan had gotten his first win. I think Jeff cut him off a few times. I wish Nathan would have gotten it, but it is what it is.
Indeed. Did you need a caution with 10 to go, and did you have anything for your teammate Nathan and for the winner Jeff Ward?
I mean, we were both faster than him because he was on 2 tires, I believe. Maybe not. I'm not sure. I think he might have been on 2. But no, Nathan and I were about equal. So I mean, he got by me actually in the pits. My pit crew wasn't the best tonight, but no, we were about equal. So once he got by me, I was content. Hopefully, him getting the win, us coming home in second, but didn't quite get there.
And Eric, again, good job on getting to the podium. It's been a struggle to cut through the pack here tonight. You did take home the third spot there. Sponsors, shout-outs. Who really makes it happen for you on the 94?
Oh, I want to thank my teammates for sitting with me and sticking by me. Things are a little bit tougher this year with all the competition that's coming, but we're still running well, and so this was a good run for us. And then I want to thank White Castle sponsors, the Doug Brundys Big Acoustic Show, and then my beautiful girlfriend Lonnie for watching. So, thank you.
That's your third place finisher, Eric Brundys. Now, Evan Pasoko, you got the runner-up.
We're down on pit road, caught up with the driver that's going to walk away with a P2 in this one. However, if you look at the stat sheet, it's going to show that it was by less than 0.2 of a second between him and the car that comes home in third, but the fight was between him and the car up front. Down on pit road with the driver of the 41 car, Nathan Little. Nathan, first off, walk us through those final couple of laps there. Got to Jeff Ward about 4 times and nearly got the nose taken off 4 times. You hang on to second. What's your thoughts?
Evan, I've been due. I feel like I've been due a win for a while, and I race these guys pretty clean. I'm not a hard-nosed driver by any means, but it looks like I'm going to have to be to win this thing. So to win one of these things, because these guys sure don't care to take your freaking nose off. So if they want to race that way, we'll race that way too. So little hot right now actually.
And understandably so. You and Jeff both took different paths to be able to get up to the front of this field before you met each other at the end. He started on pole, and he ends up finishing at the top spot. You had a lot more harder work for you. You were a 4th fastest car in practice, but started 18th. What led to that, and how was it fighting through the field to be able to get up here to even be in contention for that checkered?
Well, me and those stroke races team, we've been struggling all year in qualifying. Me and Eric both, and John, we just flat out sucked in qualifying, and that's our fault. So it makes us have to work a lot harder. So it makes it a little rougher when we get up there to race with those guys and they race us like that. So yeah, it was in all, Jeff had the fastest car all night, but it would be nice to be shown a little bit of respect, racing for the win like that. But I understand racing hard. It was fun. I guarantee we put on a good show, though. I know that.
It was indeed exciting, and unfortunately for you, although a P2 is good for the points, it is not that checkered flag that you guys wanted by any stretch of the imagination. Rolling forward, Nathan, 1 week's time, we're going to Bristol. Bristol is one track that we expect the contact that we saw tonight at Texas. Does anything from this carry forward to that, and what is the outlook for you and the team rolling into round 8?
Nothing at all carries forward from this. I'd hate to be like a few of these drivers in this league that do carry it over week to week, but we'll go race them like we race anyone else, and we'll keep racing with respect and see where that ends us up. Probably end us up like Mark Martin, winning nothing hardly in his whole career, but we'll keep doing it. I'd rather have respect any day.
And you guys showed that tonight. It was a valiant effort of P2 sponsors, and shout out to all of those good people behind the scenes who makes it happen for you in the 41.
I've got this awesome show on YouTube as my sponsor, the Angry Grandpa Show. He's funny as crap. Check him out. And I also run the University of Kentucky car. It was kind of bad for seeing them have a bad little time in the tournament there in the Final Four, but that's about it. And I got Derek Hyatt watching. He spots for me every week. So, and all those truck races guys sitting in the channel with me there. We have a blast every Monday night. And thank you guys, too. Y'all put on a great show.
Well, Nathan, we want to thank you for taking a moment to talk to us. Get back there with the crew. Again, congrats on a P2. Keep fighting, and I'm sure we'll see that 41 car in victory lane. Good luck next week, and then good luck for the rest of the season as well.
Thank you, man.
That is your second place finisher, driving the number 41. Nathan Little starts 18th and comes home with a P2, just short after a hard fight with Jeff Ward. Now with the driver on the flip side of that coin, down in Gatorade victory lane with the race winner, Jeff Ward. Jacob Seelman, you've caught up with a very enthusiastic number 89 crew.
Yeah, I think enthusiastic might be a little bit of an understatement, Evan. Down here in Gatorade Victory Lane, he got his first pole position to start off the night. He ends the night with his first career Full Throttle Cup Series checkered flag. The Steel Horse Racing number 89. Jeff, you finally did it. You got a win in the Outlaw Truck Series first, then you followed that up with strong showings in the Asphalt Assault Series. And look at you now. Finally, you ascend to the top step of the podium here in the Cup Series. The battle with Nathan Little is one that I think we're all going to be talking about for a long, long time. What was it like from your point of view there in the closing laps? I know you were doing everything you could to keep him behind you.
Yeah, Jacob, pretty pumped up right now, man. That was a really wild race. That's kind of bittersweet. I never like to drive a guy like that, but I wasn't gonna give it up, man. I was on 2 tires there. I was battling as hard as I could, and I know Nathan was up to my quarter panel a couple times, and I never was gonna come down all the way on him, but you know I definitely pinched him down there, and I don't like to drive like that. I know Nathan's clean. I usually am too, but right there I really had to give it all I could there, man. I'm no more Mr. Nice Guy on that one, but yeah, I'm sure he owes me one now, but it's sweet to be in victory lane.
You get the checkered flag. Not only is it your first win in the series, you were in the top 5 in points without a win, and now you finally have that mark in the W column. I know this is sweet for you, but boy, for all the work this Steel Horse Racing team has put in, I think that's 4 for 7 for you guys for the season, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, this team's been on a roll.
Yeah, it's a great group of guys over here, and we all kind of bounce off each other as far as trying to get up to speed on these tracks. And you know, I can't hand it to them guys enough for helping me along the way. I've learned a lot from Dan and Thomas, and those guys are usually the ones that are up front. So yeah, it's definitely a team effort, and you know, I'm real excited to be a part of Steel Horse Racing.
It's been a fun night, Jeff. I know you want to go celebrate really quickly. Sponsors, shout-outs. Who makes it happen for you in the 89 crew?
Give a shout-out to Yeti Coolers, RSR. This league's been a blast so far. Just Steel Horse Racing. Thanks to you guys.
Jeff, you get the win. I know there may not be a Gatorade bath, but I'm sure there's going to be a whole lot of celebrating to be done later tonight. Congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
That's it from down here in Gatorade Victory Lane, and upstairs somewhere, Evan Pasoko, you and our crack statisticians have got the final results.
Yeah, we talked to the top 3 finishers. Jeff Ward takes it home exactly from where he started, sat on pole, and it looked like he threw it away after trouble on pit road. Some pit strategy at the end and some aggressive drive it at the end puts him in victory lane. Nathan Little has to settle for second. Eric Brundy's nearly stole that from him at the stripe. The 94 car comes home in third. Fourth position to Dwayne Vincent. Adam Benefiel back up to P5, kind of quiet in all of this, but the 01 started up there, trouble early on, and took him pretty much the entire 125 laps to be able to get back there. P6 was CJ Lavere. Chad Coleman walks away with the 7th. 8th place to David Comstock. Kyle Tarasca subbing in the number 42 car. Started 13th, comes home 9th, and rounding out your top 10. One of the cars that was up front and kind of had a rough go, he's able to salvage the top 10 out of it. That's Thomas J. George.
Yeah, Chad Cole in 11th fell back. I thought he was going to fight for the win, led some laps on the night. Brandon Peterson, didn't talk about him. He started 41st and undoubtedly the hard charger of the night, all the way to 12th at the checkered flag. 13th, Glenn Campbell. 14th, Matt Lacrosse. After being 3 laps down early in the race, he somehow salvages a 14th place result. Jose Gonzalez, 15th. Brennan Mercer, 16th. Corbin Himstreet, 17th. William Kemp, 18th. 19th, Greg Evans. 20th, Kevin Linden.
Continuing on through 21st position, we go to Nick Cohan back after starting 34th. So a lot of these drivers, although they were back in the pack, did pick up some time from where they started. 27 total on the lead lap. 22nd was the 11th of Jonathan Cadell. Doug Ron, 23rd. 24th, Sean Castle. You got Scott Simley back with a P25. 26 goes in favor of the 46 of EJ O'Rourke. Daniel Murphy rounds out the field lead lap cars-wise in P27. 1 lap down, 28th to the 24 of Stefan Marinak. 2 laps down, 29th to the 5 of Dan Murray. And rounding out your top 30 is the 36 of Rich Jett. His night ended behind the wall.
31st, Steve Gottschalk, whose night also ended behind the wall. Brian Macklin, 32nd, the recipient of some contact with Thomas George that ended his night. 33rd, John Abbott. 34th, Mark Bratcher. 35th, Brian Harvey. LD Sarabia, 36th. Nick Silver, who ran strong a lot of this race, ends up 37th. 38th, Mitch Rollo. 39th, Harrison Weidelitz. 40th, Jason Lester. Rhett McBride, who was involved in one of our very early caution flags on the night, ends the night last on the grid in 41st. That's a look at your final results this evening, presented by Ford Drive One. And speaking of Ford, let's go down one more time to our Ford Performance pit reporters. First, Brett Wheeler.
Yeah, thanks, Jacob. And man, what a race. What an exciting finish. Congratulations to the 89 team of Jeff Ward on taking out the Gatorade Victoria Texas 125 lapper here tonight. Well done to Nathan Little and Eric Brundys. And man, I'll tell you what, Justin, it was wild here on pit lane during the races.
Indeed it was. The 89 of Jeff Ward recovers big time from that big pit road mistake, missing his pit entry there just before the caution flag flew. That turned out to be the lucky break of the night, as several of the drivers have finished just a little bit further back in the top 3, like Dwayne Vincent, a couple others trapped on pit road. Strong recovery for those guys, but it was all Jeff Ward tonight, who's been no doubt the hottest driver in real sim racing, in a race that was slowed 6 times for 29 laps with 6 different lead changes split among 5 different drivers. It's been quite a race, I say, especially with the drama leading up to the end there with Nathan Little and your winner Jeff Ward. And man, I cannot wait to see what happens the next couple of weeks, because we go short tracking. It's Bristol and Richmond time, baby.
Oh, Justin, you took the words right out of my mouth. This is going to be good, because any retribution from Texas tonight, Evan, could very well be carried out over the next 2 races' time. Bristol, Richmond, we know those are going to be fun. But really quickly, despite not having a win, the guy who's still the hottest driver in real sim racing, because he's on top of it, Dwayne Vincent, another top 5 result tonight.
And we were so busy looking at our leaders nearly wrecking each other, but Dwayne was there and nearly walked away with a P2 in all of this, because he was fighting with Eric Brundys. Brundys was able to hold him off, and equally as so little was able to hold off Brundies. But Dwayne Vincent, strong all night, finishes exactly where he started, much like our race winner did. Started fourth, comes home fourth. You heard it when we talked to Brundies, and that's how, he attributed to his success last season was just, kill him with top fives. Dwayne Vincent, not a trip to victory lane, still yet to do so. He sits atop the standings in front of guys who immediately behind him do have wins. But, solid points nights week in, week out, even if it's not a trip to victory lane. And, it's a little solace for a guy like an Nathan Little knowing that you walk away with nearly max points coming home in second. Dwayne Vincent doing the same thing, though. As long as you're consistent throughout these and, you're just hoping that you have at least 16 spots, not 16 different winners by the time you get to the end of it, and still be able to get a spot in that championship, doing real good in a well-earned P4 tonight.
Yeah, and the one thing Vincent has going for him is regardless of how many winners there are, the points leader does get a spot in the chase whether they have a win or not. So if Vincent can stay there, he's doing exactly what he needs to do. But as we wrap it up from Texas, it's been a night, and we'll keep an eye on the feuds, the tempers, and see what happens when we go to Bristol in 1 week's time. That action going to be right back here on LSR TV at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Until then, for Evan Pasoko, Justin Rosenau, and Brett Wheeler down on pit road, and our executive producer Laura Lawson behind the glass, I'm Jacob Seelman from Texas Motor Speedway, giving one more shout-out to the 89. Jeff Ward picks up the victory tonight, and Steel Horse Racing celebrates. So we'll be back next Monday night. Until then, keep it off the wall and have a safe racing weekend. Good night.